This talk is going to be a little different. It's not going to be like the others. It may not inspire you, it may not give you the right boost that you need, but it will put into perspective a lot of things. I've actually kind of lived an entire lifetime in the space of 10 years. I started my journey in 2008 or 2009 as one of India's first YouTubers. I made India's first ever viral video back then. And in 2009, with my friend, I started one of India's first e-commerce companies. Entrepreneurship was unheard of back then, and people didn't know this concept of startup even existed. So once again, trying to start an online business back then was really, really hard. I was able to do a lot of things in a very short span of time because I pretty much lived what all you Gen Zs want to do, right? Which is a lot of success, a lot of things in a very short span of time, right? Isn't this what all of you guys want to do? Yeah. So in 10 years, I became an entrepreneur. I became a best-selling author. I gave close to 400 talks across India and the world. I became a online content creator. And then I got clinical depression. And then I was out of service for about 4 years. And then I got out of it. And all of this happened within a space of 10 years. And what I'm here to tell you is what really happens once you achieve everything that you're supposed to. So, between 2012 to 2017 is when all of this happened. I became an entrepreneur, I gave talks, I wrote this book, which became a movie. And in 2018, I sold my first company. And I'm going to start my second company in 2018. It started up. The app becomes the number one app on the Play Store and the App Store. I'm supposed to sign a $3 million term sheet with an investor, and I don't feel like getting out of bed. When it happens once, you're like, okay, fine. Maybe you're tired. Maybe this will become better. But then the next day, the same thing happens. And then the next day, the same thing happens. And I'm like, okay, let's give it some time. But then I'm in bed for 1 week. Then I'm in bed for 2 weeks. Then I'm in bed for a month. And I don't feel like getting out of bed for 3 months. By now, my startup is disintegrated. I'm still thinking this is a major burnout, or, I just need time off and, things will get better. And the best part, or I would say the worst part, when you're in clinical depression is that you can't have a concept of time, right? Uh, Time appears not as a construct what it does to a normal person. So 6 months go by and I'm still in bed and I just don't feel like getting on with life. That's when I realize, holy shit, I need help. I go for therapy. I speak to psychologists. I speak to therapists. I try everything, but nothing changes. So by now, for 1 full year, I'm in bed. Now I'm contrasting this with my life previously, where I don't think there's been a single day when I haven't done something with my life, right? So 10 full years of having every single day that is super eventful. And now for 1 full year, I've been in bed. The funny thing about clinical depression is that because you can't see it, there is no one straight diagnosis, right? So it's not like a doctor can say, okay, fine, this is what you're going through and this is what you need to do. I remember I was in therapy for almost a year, but nothing changed. Now it's been 2 years and I still haven't been able to do anything with my life and I still haven't been able to get out of bed, right? I find day to day functioning really hard. Even the simple task of brushing your teeth is extremely hard, right? Because you just don't feel like getting out of bed. So now it's 2 years. And this is when I have to confront the really sad and bad part that maybe I need to go to a psychiatrist and need meds because otherwise I don't know what hope there is if I'm going to continue doing this. Now, taking meds is a very scary thing because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know whether you're going to improve or you don't know it's going to make it worse for you. So I go to a psychiatrist and I remember going there with my mom because I was really worried. I really wanted to know what's happening. So the psychiatrist hears all my symptoms and he's like, this is a classic case of clinical depression. So I asked him, what's the difference between regular depression and clinical depression? He said regular depression is like sort of like regular sadness. It takes about 1 to 3 months or 6 months and it can still go away. But clinical depression is a genuine chemical imbalance that happens in the brain and it can only go away with dedicated medication. Now, the only problem is that these medications have further side effects and you don't know whether you're going to come out of this medication or not. So I get on the meds and I just started my clinical depression meds. And he said it's going to take 1 year for you to even start feeling normal. That's when my younger brother passes away due to COVID, right? So I'm like right in the middle of trying to get over this. And then this happens. And I'm like, wow, okay. So I need to wake up, sort of tune out of this so that I can take care of my parents because they just lost a child and I lost a brother. And through that process, I had to deal with grief, which was a whole different thing. The funny thing about depression is there is no set date when you're going to recover. So it's not like the doctor says, now, after this day, you're going to be all fine and you get back to work and you'll be able to do whatever you were doing before. You start the meds and you just have to go through it and wait it out and see and hope that one day you'll recover. And it took about 4 years of me being in bed when finally I was able to get off the meds, was finally able to get off therapy, and finally I was able to, get the doctor say, yeah, this is it, you've recovered and you can actually go back to living a normal life. But it was during these 4 years of clinical depression that I realized the most important aspect of life, right? Which is, what is happiness according to you guys? So, for me, what I discovered through this period is because I've experienced everything around a regular form of happiness as well, is that happiness is accepting all emotions equally. And I realized that the only way you can be successful in life is if you develop something known as the EQ or the emotional quotient. If you want to be a leader, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be an artist, if you want to succeed in anything, the only thing that actually matters is EQ, right? Which is the emotional quotient. And what is the emotional quotient? Emotional quotient is how mature you are emotionally to be able to deal with a lot of things. And if you have ample amount of EQ, then anything is possible. Because we live in a world where we are constantly just chasing happiness. Isn't this what we're all about? The pursuit of happiness? But there is no concept of happiness because happiness is accepting anything that happens to your life, the good, the bad, the ugly, and accepting that with equality and going ahead with life without trying to feel bad about what's happened to you, right? And that is where I think we're feeling. Because for us, the moment we start feeling any sort of negative emotion, what do? We go out drinking or we start scrolling. So these are the only two things that now a person of every age group, literally from the age of 18 to 80, does. And we are limiting ourselves to feel any sort of emotion because we have so many different sort of escape for not letting us feel what we really want to feel. The only drawback to that is that when you let it compound year on year, month on month, day on day, week on week, is when it finally hits you in a physical or in a mental capacity that then becomes a little hard for you to actually defeat. All of you guys are going to walk out of this room with just one purpose in mind. That is, how do I achieve as much success as I can, as much fame, and as much money in the quickest time possible? That is what every single young person in this world wants today. And there is absolutely no harm in wanting that. But the only thing that I would tell you is want it, but space it out throughout or for the rest of your life. Because if you get every single thing that you want in 10 years, then the question, what next, becomes an extremely difficult question to answer. And then you have to figure what to do with the remaining 30 years of your life. So, what I would say is that no matter what your dreams are, go out and follow them or go ahead and do them. But do them over a period of time without any hurry, because trust me, we may feel that life is short, but actually it's really, really long and it's really, really boring, right? It's a long time. So all of this thought that, oh, life is short, you got to do whatever you want quickly. Well, trust me, there is a lot of time to be able to do a lot of things. And the second is, if you're not able to understand your emotions, you're going to fail in life miserably. If you're not going to able to deal with grief, sadness, anger, hate, humiliation, embarrassment, failure, these are the emotions that put you down. So if you're not going to be able to deal with all of these emotions, that's the difference between a successful person and a non-successful person. That's it. The successful person knows how to deal with these emotions, and a non-successful person could have a very high IQ and could be super smart and could be like super intelligent, but does not know how to deal with these particular situations. And what's going to make any one of you here successful or not successful is how you're able to be self-aware and able to handle the emotions in your life rather than anything else, because everything else anyone else can achieve. But the difference comes down to who has a more mature EQ. And I think that is what will make the difference if you really want to succeed in life or not. Thank you.